In a world filled with endless opportunities, countless distractions, and the constant pressure to do more, be more, and achieve more, we often find ourselves starting projects, relationships, and endeavors that we never see through to completion. We live in an age of instant gratification, where the excitement of beginning something new often overshadows the discipline required to finish it. The great evangelist Billy Graham understood this human tendency all too well. Throughout his remarkable life and ministry, he witnessed countless individuals who would start their spiritual journey, their personal transformation, their business ventures, or their relationships with tremendous enthusiasm, only to abandon them when the initial excitement wore off and the real work began. Today, we're going to explore one of the most profound principles that Billy Graham lived by and taught others: never start what you can't finish. This isn't just advice about productivity or time management. This is a fundamental truth about character, integrity, and the very essence of what it means to live a meaningful life. The weight of our commitments. Billy Graham often spoke about the sacred nature of our commitments. When we start something, whether it's a promise to a loved one, a business venture, a personal goal, or a spiritual journey, we're not just making a casual decision. We're entering into a covenant with ourselves, with others, and with our future. Every beginning carries within it the seed of an ending. Every start implies a commitment to see something through to its natural conclusion. When we begin something without the intention or ability to finish it, we're not just wasting time or resources, we're damaging our own integrity and breaking faith with those who depend on us. Think about the last time someone made you a promise they didn't keep. Remember how it felt when someone started a project with you but abandoned it halfway through. Consider the disappointment you experienced when someone began a relationship with you but couldn't commit to seeing it through the challenges that inevitably arise. Now, think about the times you've been that person. We all have. We've all made commitments we couldn't keep, started projects we didn't finish, and begun relationships we weren't prepared to nurture through difficult seasons. Billy Graham understood that this pattern of starting without finishing doesn't just hurt others. It fundamentally damages our own character and self-respect. Every unfinished commitment, every abandoned project, every broken promise creates a small crack in our integrity. Over time, these cracks compound, and we begin to lose faith in our own ability to follow through on anything meaningful. The cost of unfinished business. When we don't finish what we start, the cost extends far beyond the immediate disappointment. There's a spiritual and emotional toll that accumulates over time, creating patterns that can define our entire approach to life. First, there's the erosion of self-trust. Each time we abandon something we started, we send a message to ourselves that we can't be relied upon. We begin to doubt our own capacity for commitment, discipline, and follow through. This self-doubt becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy, making it even more likely that we'll abandon future endeavors when they become challenging. Second, there's the impact on our relationships. People learn to see us as unreliable. They stop counting on us for important matters. They hesitate to include us in significant projects or trust us with meaningful responsibilities. Our reputation becomes one of someone who has good intentions but poor execution. Third, there's the waste of resources and opportunities. Every project we abandon represents time, energy, money, and opportunities that could have been invested elsewhere. When we consistently start things we don't finish, we create a pattern of waste that affects not only our own life, but the lives of everyone connected to our decisions. Billy Graham saw this pattern repeatedly in his ministry. He counseled countless individuals who had accumulated years of unfinished business, broken relationships, abandoned dreams, incomplete commitments, and half-hearted efforts. These people often came to him feeling defeated, overwhelmed, and unsure of their own capacity to create meaningful change in their lives. The discipline of discernment. The solution to this problem isn't to stop starting things altogether. Life requires us to begin new chapters, take on new challenges, and pursue new opportunities. The key is developing what Billy Graham called the discipline of discernment. The ability to carefully evaluate whether we truly have the capacity, commitment, and resources to see something through before we begin. This discipline begins with honest self-assessment. We must learn to recognize our own limitations, not as permanent restrictions, but as current realities that inform our decision making. If we're already overcommitted, taking on another major project isn't wise. If we're going through a challenging season in our personal life, it might not be the right time to start a demanding new venture. Discernment also requires us to count the cost before we begin. Billy Graham often encouraged people to consider not just the excitement of starting something new, but the daily discipline required to maintain it, the challenges they would inevitably face, and the resources they would need to see it through to completion. This doesn't mean we should only start things we're absolutely certain we can finish. Life is uncertain and circumstances change. But it does mean we should start things with a realistic understanding of what we're committing to and a genuine intention to see them through, even when it becomes difficult. The character of completion, those who consistently finish what they start develop a unique character trait that sets them apart in every area of life. This character of completion becomes a defining feature of their personality and their approach to challenges. People with this character trait understand that the true test of any endeavor isn't how enthusiastically you begin it, but how faithfully you continue when the initial excitement fades. They know that the middle of any project is where character is forged and integrity is demonstrated. Billy Graham exemplified this character throughout his life. His ministry spanned decades, requiring him to maintain consistency and commitment through changing times, personal challenges, and evolving circumstances. He understood that his effectiveness wasn't measured by how many new initiatives he could start, but by how faithfully he could maintain his core commitments over time. This character of completion affects every relationship and every endeavor. In marriage, it's the difference between couples who weather storms together and those who abandon ship at the first sign of difficulty. In business, it's what separates successful entrepreneurs from those who jump from one incomplete venture to another. In personal development, it's what distinguishes people who achieve lasting transformation from those who try every new program but never stick with anything long enough to see real results. The power of persistence. Billy Graham often taught that persistence isn't just about stubbornly continuing when things get difficult. True persistence is about maintaining clarity of purpose and commitment to your values even when circumstances change or challenges arise. There's a crucial difference between persistence and mere stubbornness. Stubbornness continues without wisdom, refusing to adapt or learn from changing circumstances. Persistence, on the other hand, maintains commitment to the ultimate goal while remaining flexible about methods and approaches. When we commit to finishing what we start, we develop the mental and spiritual muscle of persistence. This muscle grows stronger with use, making us more capable of handling larger challenges and more complex commitments over time. Persistence also teaches us that most worthwhile endeavors go through predictable phases. There's the initial excitement of beginning, followed by the inevitable middle period where progress seems slow and challenges mount. Those who finish what they start learn to recognize this middle phase not as a sign that they should quit, but as the natural rhythm of any meaningful undertaking. Billy Graham experienced this rhythm repeatedly throughout his ministry. There were seasons of incredible momentum and growth, followed by periods of difficulty, criticism, and apparent stagnation. His ability to maintain his commitment through all these phases allowed him to build something that lasted and created lasting impact. The ripple effect of reliability. When we consistently finish what we start, we create ripple effects that extend far beyond our immediate circumstances. Our reliability becomes a source of strength and stability for everyone around us. People begin to trust us with greater responsibilities because they know we'll follow through. Opportunities arise because others have confidence in our ability to complete what we begin. Relationships deepen because people know they can count on us through difficult seasons. This reliability also creates a positive feedback loop in our own lives. As we experience the satisfaction of completion and the respect that comes with reliability, we become more motivated to maintain these high standards. Success builds on success, creating momentum that makes it easier to finish future endeavors. Billy Graham understood that his reliability wasn't just about his own character. It was about creating a foundation that others could build upon. The consistency of his message and the reliability of his character allowed countless other people to build their own faith and ministry efforts on the foundation he provided. Learning from failure, even with the best intentions and careful discernment, there will be times when we start something we can't finish due to changed circumstances, new information, or simply poor initial judgment. Billy Graham taught that these experiences, while disappointing, can become valuable learning opportunities if we approach them with the right attitude. When we do find ourselves unable to complete something we started, the key is to handle the situation with integrity and responsibility. This means communicating honestly with others who are affected, taking responsibility for our part in the situation, and making whatever amends are possible. It also means learning from the experience to make better decisions in the future. What factors did we fail to consider when we started? What warning signs did we ignore? How can we improve our discernment process to avoid similar situations in the future? Billy Graham often counseled people to see these experiences not as evidence of personal failure, but as part of the learning process that develops wisdom and better judgment over time. The goal isn't perfection, it's growth and improvement in our ability to make commitments we can keep. The spiritual dimension for Billy Graham, the principle of finishing what we start, had deep spiritual significance. He understood that our ability to keep commitments to others reflected our relationship with ultimate truth and meaning. When we consistently break our commitments and abandon our endeavors, we develop a casual attitude toward promises and responsibilities that can affect every area of our lives, including our spiritual development. Conversely, when we take our commitments seriously and work to fulfill them faithfully, we develop character traits that strengthen our entire approach to life. This doesn't mean that every commitment we make is equally important or that we should never adjust our priorities based on changing circumstances. But it does mean that we should approach our commitments with seriousness and work diligently to fulfill them whenever possible. Billy Graham saw this principle at work in the spiritual lives of countless individuals. Those who took their commitments seriously in practical matters often demonstrated greater spiritual maturity and depth. Those who were casual about their promises and responsibilities often struggled with consistency in their spiritual development as well. Building a legacy of completion. Ultimately, the principle of never starting what you can't finish is about building a legacy of completion rather than a trail of abandoned endeavors. It's about being remembered as someone who could be counted on, who kept their word, and who created lasting value through sustained effort. Billy Graham's own life exemplifies this legacy. Rather than jumping from one ministry to another or constantly starting new initiatives, he focused on building something substantial and lasting. His consistent message and reliable character created a platform that influenced millions of people over decades. This kind of legacy isn't built through dramatic gestures or spectacular beginnings. It's built through the daily choice to honor our commitments, even when it's difficult or inconvenient. It's built through the discipline of saying no to new opportunities when we're already fully committed to existing responsibilities. It's built through the understanding that true success isn't measured by how many things we start, but by the quality and completion of what we choose to pursue. Practical steps for implementation. Living by this principle requires developing practical systems and habits that support our ability to finish what we start. This begins with honest assessment of our current commitments and capacity. Before starting anything new, take time to evaluate your existing responsibilities and commitments. Ask yourself whether you truly have the time, energy, and resources to add something new to your life. Consider not just the initial requirements, but the sustained effort that will be needed to see it through to completion. Develop the habit of writing down your commitments and regularly reviewing them. This helps you maintain awareness of what you've committed to and prevents you from overcommitting without realizing it. Create accountability systems that help you stay committed when motivation wanes. This might involve finding partners who share your goals, scheduling regular check-ins with mentors or advisors, or establishing concrete milestones that mark progress toward completion. Learn to recognize the difference between temporary setbacks and fundamental problems. Every worthwhile endeavor will face challenges and obstacles. Developing the wisdom to distinguish between normal difficulties and genuine reasons to reconsider your commitment is crucial for long-term success. Billy Graham's principle of never starting what you can't finish is more than practical advice. It's a fundamental approach to living with integrity and purpose. In a world that celebrates new beginnings but often ignores the hard work of completion, this principle offers a different path. When we commit to finishing what we start, we develop character traits that serve us in every area of life. We become more reliable, more trustworthy, and more effective in everything we do. We create positive momentum that builds on itself, making it easier to achieve our goals and maintain our commitments. Perhaps most importantly, we develop the deep satisfaction that comes from completion, from knowing that we've honored our word and created something lasting through sustained effort. The choice is before us every day. Will we start another project we're unlikely to finish, or will we focus our energy on completing what we've already begun? Will we make another promise we're not sure we can keep, or will we commit only to what we can realistically accomplish? Billy Graham's life and teaching remind us that true success isn't measured by how many things we start, but by the quality and completion of what we choose to pursue. In a world full of unfinished business, choosing to finish what we start isn't just good advice. It's a radical act of integrity that sets us apart and creates lasting impact. The next time you're tempted to start something new, remember Billy Graham's wisdom: never start what you can't finish. Your future self, your relationships, and your legacy will thank you for making this principle a cornerstone of your life.